Hello, friends. You are here for a read aloud, so let's get started right away. Today we are reading Weslandia by Paul Fleischman, and this is illustrated by Kevin Hawkes. This is kind of an older book, but it is a classic. So let's jump right in. On the end pages, we always see a design. This looks something like hieroglyphics. Maybe from ancient Egypt. There's the title page, Weslandia. Of course he's miserable, moaned Wesley's mother. He sticks out. Like a nose, snapped his father. Listening through the heating vent, Wesley knew they were right. He was the outcast from the civilization around him. He, alone in his town, disliked pizza and soda, alarming his mother and the school nurse. He found professional football stupid. Professional football? No, never. He refused to shave half his head, the hairstyle worn by all the other boys, despite his father's bribe of $5. Ooh, boy. Passing his neighborhood's two styles of housing, garage on the left and garage on the right, Wesley alone dreamed of more exciting forms of shelter. He had no friends, but plenty of tormentors. Fleeing them was the only sport he was good at. So we can definitely tell Wesley was different and not treated very nicely, maybe even bullied a little bit. Each afternoon, his mother asked him what he'd learned in school that day. That seeds are carried great distances by the wind, he answered on Wednesday. That each civilization has its staple food crop, he answered on Thursday. That school's over and I should find a good summer project, he answered on Friday. As always, his father mumbled, I'm sure you'll use that knowledge often. Suddenly, Wesley's thoughts shot sparks. His eyes blazed. His father was right. He could actually use what he'd learned that week for a summer project that would top all the others. He would grow his own staple food crop and found his own civilization. Sounds like a pretty cool project. The next morning, he turned over a plot of ground in his yard. That night, when the wind blew in from the west, it raced through the trees and set his curtains snapping. Wesley lay awake listening. His land was being planted. Very cool. 5 days later, the first seedlings appeared. You'll have an almighty bedlam on your hand if you don't get those weeds out, warned his neighbor. Actually, that's my crop, replied Wesley. In this type of garden, there are no weeds. Following ancient tradition, Wesley's fellow gardeners grew tomatoes, beans, Brussels sprouts, and nothing else. But Wesley found it thrilling to open his land to chance, to invite in the new and the unknown. The plants shot up past his knees, then his waist. They seemed to be all of the same sort, and Wesley couldn't find them in any plant book. Are those tomatoes, beans, or Brussels sprouts? Asked Wesley's neighbor. None of the above, replied Wesley. That looks like a cool garden. I love flowers. Flowers that big, ooh, they'd be beautiful. Fruit appeared, yellow at first, then blushing to magenta. Wesley picked one, and sliced through the rind to the juicy purple center. He took a bite and found the taste an entrancing blend of peach, strawberry, pumpkin pie, and flavors he had no name for. Peach, strawberry, and pumpkin pie. I don't know if I'd like that combo. Ignoring the shelf of cereals in the kitchen, Wesley took to breakfasting on the fruit. He dried half a rind to serve as a cup, built his own squeezing device, and drank the fruit's juice throughout the day. Pulling up a plant, he found large tubers on the roots. These he boiled, fried, or roasted on the family barbecue, seasoning them with a pinch of the plant's highly aromatic leaves. Check out this illustration that goes all the way across. So here's his fruit basket. In the beginning, he sliced it. Then he made the machine to get the juice that he was drinking. He dried. There's this cup made from the rind of one of the fruits. There's the roots he pulled. And then over here, he is roasting a root on a stick. Wow, that's a lot of stuff that comes from this unknown plant. It was hot work tending to his crop. To keep off the sun, Wesley wove himself a hat from strips of the plant's woody bark. His success with the hat inspired him to devise a spinning wheel and loom on which he wove a loose-fitting robe from the stalks of the soft inner fibers. Unlike jeans, which he found scratchy and heavy, the robe was comfortable, reflected the sun, and offered myriad opportunities for pockets. Okay, so his crop is providing food, and now it's also providing clothing. That's very cool. His schoolmates were scornful, then curious. Grudgingly, Wesley allowed them in for 10 minutes apiece at his mortar, crushing the plant seeds to collect all the oil. This oil had a tangy scent and served both as suntan lotion and mosquito repellent. He rubbed it on his face each morning and sold small amounts to his former tormentors at the price of $10 per bottle. These illustration spreads are so good. If you look, this side, the kids standing in the line to do the seed squishing to make the oil. You can see they're all covered in mosquitoes. And then we zoom over to the other page, and he's just sitting back, relaxing, making money selling the oil. "What's happened to your watch?" his mother asked one day. Wesley admitted that he no longer wore it. He told time by the stalk that he used as a sundial and had divided the day into 8 segments, the number of petals on the plant's flower. He adopted a new counting system as well, based likewise upon the number 8. His domain, home to many such innovations, he named Weslandia. Very cool. So here's his new clock that he invented. 8 sections of the day instead of 24 like us. Very cool. Uninterested in traditional sports, Wesley made up his own. These were designed for a single player, and he used many parts of the plant. His spectators looked on with envy. Realizing that more players would offer him more scope, Wesley invented other games that would include his schoolmates, games rich with strategy and complex scoring systems. He tried to be patient with the other players' blunders. Very cool. I don't know how good I'd be at those games if you have to stand on stilts. It would be challenging, though. August was unusually hot. Wesley built himself a platform and took to sleeping in the middle of Weslandia. He passed the evenings playing a flute he'd fashioned from a stalk, or gazing up at the sky, renaming constellations. That sounds so peaceful and relaxing. And look at that. A double-page spread illustration. Playing his flute, relaxing in the evening. His parents noted Wesley's improved morale. "It's the first time in years he's looked happy," said his mother. He gave them a tour of Weslandia. "What do you call this plant?" asked his father. Not knowing its name, Wesley had begun calling it swist, from the sound of its leaves rustling in the breeze. In like manner, he'd named his new fabrics, games, foods, until he'd created an entire language. Wow. Mixing the plant's oil with soot, Wesley made a passable ink. As the finale to his summer project, he used the ink and his own 83-letter alphabet to record the history of his civilization's founding. I'm going to zoom in into this illustration here. There he is, and is covered in his, like he's inside of his garden with all the plants, and he's wearing the clothes made from the plants. He's writing on paper made from the plants. He's writing with oil from the plants mixed with some soot. That's kind of what's left over after things are burned. Wow, what a summer project. In September, when Wesley returned to school, he had no shortage of friends. The end. This story is so cool. I love how he didn't fit in the beginning of the book. He didn't fit in his town with his neighbors, with his parents, but he kind of adapted his own. He made up his own thing so that he didn't have to fit in, right? He designed it so it would fit him. So that is Weslandia by Paul Fleischman. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.